A new global economic policy will be on the table at a meeting in the American town of Bretton Woods. Economists, finance experts and scholars from across the world will gather at the conference held by world-renowned billionaire George Soros. Well, let's get more details now from our correspondent Lauren Lister, who joins us live from the summit's venue. Good to see you there, Lauren. Now, tell us more about what we can expect here, as well as the significance of the timing and the chosen venue.
Well, essentially, the chosen venue that you see, this beautiful estate and hotel behind me, has a very historic purpose. This was the setting of the 1944, the famous Bretton Woods Conference that essentially set the monetary system and policy for the world, the international system. This is where the International Monetary Fund was established. This is where what is now the World Bank was established. And this is also when the United States dollar became the reserve currency for the world, and exchange rates of countries all over the world were pegged to it. Now, that was the historic conference. That was when United Nations got together the allied countries during World War II at its peak to have this summit. Today, it's a very different story. This is, as you mentioned, billionaire George Soros gathering together 200, according to the think tank, intellectuals. This is a think tank funded by Soros himself, $50 million reportedly behind it, gathered together to discuss where this is going next, with the belief that the current economic thinking and the current world monetary policy systems in place are no longer working. They no longer reflect what the world is like today and what the reality is like on the globe.
Now, Lauren, of course, the world economy has had this huge downturn, but has this brought about any change in the way the financial elite will be thinking about the global financial system for the future?
Well, if the information that this think tank has been putting out is accurate, then yes. One of the main reasons why this gathering is taking place is because the belief is that after the financial collapse that shook the globe and reverberated all across the world, there hasn't been anything to replace the old system that reflects a new world, where the United States is not the one singular power that dictates economic policy the way that it was in the 1944 conference when the dollar was named the reserve currency. The idea among thinkers here, or at least behind this conference, is that there needs to be a system that reflects that this is no longer a unipolar world, that this is a multipolar world that brings developing nations into the conversation. The BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, nations that now are fueling growth and have booming economies around the world in opposition to the developed nations such as the United States, where growth has really stagnated and where debts have been run up. Yet this is still the reserve currency. This is still a large force as far as monetary policy. So the idea among thinkers here is that there really needs to be a different system that engages and reflects the developing nations and the nations that are fueling a lot of the growth in the world that aren't as reflected in old policies that are considered by some of these thinkers, according to them, outdated.
Lauren, more from you, no doubt, over the next day or two. Thanks very much indeed in the meantime for that update. RT's Lauren Lister live there in the States, reporting from that financial conference about to start there